So the mindset behind our cold email that we're going to do is very important. It signifies how we're going to write to a potential customer, the types of people we'll target, how we'll iterate our messaging and who we're targeting, and how we'll do things as small as handling objections. It's important to get into this mindset because when people think of sales, especially when they think of salespeople, there's a stereotypical sleazy used car sales guy that we really don't want to fall into. And we want to put ourselves into a different mental state when we're doing sales. When we're selling, we're coming from a place of really caring about the outcomes for our potential customers. We'll get into that, but just to start, I imagine you already know why you want to prospect, and prospecting is reaching out for potential new customers. I imagine you know why you want to do that if you got into this course, but just in case you need a few more reasons, prospecting is really important for a company of any size. And prospecting, again, is just this early stage of sales, like reaching out with a message, trying to get a meeting or some type of result. It's important to us because it informs what our marketing says and what our product is. For example, if I am working for a bank and I'm reaching out to a potential customer and I'm saying, look, we have the best interest rates of anybody, you need to put your money with us. And that's what's getting responses. That should inform our marketing copy. Maybe now the header on our website is, the best interest rates anywhere. But if people aren't responding to that, when we iterate through our next step of messaging, we might say, you really should work with us because um, we've been around for 100 years. We're really safe. If that's what people resonate with, then your marketing copy needs to reflect that. At the end of some of these sales email exercises, you might start to realize, okay, I'm a bank, and when I go to sell to mom and pop businesses, they care that I've been around for 100 years and that I'm very safe. And when I go to sell to startups, they care that I have a high interest rate so they can park all their cash. I want you to be able to start to apply lessons like this to your business and say, when we talk to a small business, we know that this is the sort of marketing copy we should put out. And when we talk to this other type of business, we should put out this type of copy. So it really does inform what your business should be saying to different types of people. And it lets you test this marketing very fast and lets you know how effective a message can be. On the product side, when people say, yeah, we don't need your service, we actually use X, you can begin to figure out where your competitors are in their mind, and you can begin to figure out what jobs you're doing in their mind. So I sell a sales tool. If somebody says to me, we don't need this, we already have LinkedIn, now I know that my product and my messaging need to be differentiated from LinkedIn, either showing what I do that they don't, or showing how we complement each other. And we'll get into some of this when we talk about objection handling, but just to start there, I think is important to know that it doesn't exist in a vacuum. And that goes into a bigger idea that sales creates learnings today. When we reach out in the format that we do, we are going to generate responses, and we are hopefully going to figure out why people say what they say. Even if it's a no, we are okay with people saying no. It's a lot better than radio silence. And we're going to try to find out why they said no. Did they say no because it's not the right time, because this is not perceived as a priority, because it's not their department, because they already use a tool that they feel is similar? These are learnings that we can take today so that we can iterate our copy, our messaging, our product. Beyond all of this, there's a human element that we're really going for in our sales messaging, and that is going to overcome any potential pitfalls in our product or our brand experience. If you are a new, let's say, software startup business owner, and you have a really shitty onboarding experience, when you're reaching out in a really personalized way and offering to help someone get onboarded into your product because it'll help them do X, Y, and Z, that's going to overcome any shitty little nuances that might make your onboarding experience hard. Sales will really create, I guess, I'm trying to come up with a personal example for this. So I sell a piece of software right now, and the product experience can always improve. And I have such a higher success rate when I've reached out to someone, I've sold them the value, I've given them a little bit of free value. When they run into a few roadblocks, like maybe their CSV isn't uploading correctly into my tool, the fact that we had the personal relationship that stemmed from cold email outreach, it really does help get over that speed bump of maybe a shitty product experience. So that's a little bit of why we prospect. How we prospect, we persist. We are going to send multiple follow-ups. The money is in the follow-ups, and some people might say, I don't want to be annoying. I don't want people to hate me, and that's a really common mindset, and it's okay to come from that mindset. We're going to earn the right to persist because we're going to be giving people free value, and I'll show you that in these emails. When we're reaching out with what I like to call the persistence of a aggressively friendly golden retriever, no one is going to be mad at us because we are truly going to have their best interests in mind, and I'll show you how we're talking to them in a way that helps them. We aim small, miss small. What does that mean? It's a term from marksmanship. When people are shooting with a gun, if they're aiming at an elephant, they're aiming big, they might miss wildly. But if they were to aim, for that elephant's eye or like a speck on its back, they're going to miss much smaller. So when we prospect, we are going to come up with a hypothesis for the value that we can provide our potential customers. We are going to push that pitch and hopefully figure out along the way what the exact pitch for our business should be. If I say, I sell something that makes sales easy, that's a big aim and it could be a big miss. But if I say, I can decrease the time it makes you to cold email by 20% and we're doing it for these other people, that's a really small aim. And if people respond to that, I know that I've hit my target. If they say, yeah, that's cool, it's just not a priority, that's fine. We aim small, we miss small, we'll go somewhere else. We'll take our pitch somewhere else. And we're going to play the iteration game. We're going to take a lot of different shots, not in a spammy way, not sending 10,000 emails a day, but we're going to constantly be altering our messaging until we feel that we have something that is working for us. So just a couple things on what not to do. We do not spray and pray. And that means that we're not going to come up with one templated message and just send it to 10,000 people. You might have heard like, well, as long as it's personalized and it has their first name and their company name, we're going to send just so many emails. We're not going to do that. It doesn't provide real results. At least not in my career, in my I guess close to a decade of doing this. It really does create a poor image of your brand when you're spamming people with a shit ton of emails that are not that relevant to them. And personalization is more than just having their name and their company. It's also contextual. And I'll get into some of what that means too. Like, how do we adapt our emails to their circumstances? We do not get too complex too fast. Some sellers say, I've got this great technical solution. I make developer workflows really fast. And that might be the simple version of what they do. And so when they reach out to a head of engineering, they say, we can take your Kubernetes clusters and really speed them up by 46%. We've got a Git repo you can look at here, download our NPM package today. It's too complex and too fast. There's this great book called Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, where he talks about how do you make something caveman simple, which is when I open your email and I read, can I, as a caveman, explain what you do between grunts? Make developer workflow faster. Even that's a little complex. Make tech people's lives easier. You need to be able to let them know what you do in the first couple of sentences, because if you get too complex and they have to burn too many calories to understand what it is you have to offer them, they're going to close your email. They're never going to respond to you. Our goal is to stay simple, sell a meeting or whatever your desired next step is. It could be getting them to take a free trial. It could be just getting them to respond to you and give some feedback. We're going to use simple wording to get there. And then once we have a conversation going, then you have the floor to be complex. Do not get too complex too early. The last thing we're not going to do is we are not going to try to be cute. We are not going to be those people who reach out and say, oh, I haven't got a response to my last 6 emails, so I'll assume you're either A, under a bus, B, reeling from the beautiful offer that I'm providing, or C, um, some other stupid dumb shit. That helps nobody and it makes you look juvenile. When we go to cold email, we're really trying to come across as someone helpful to our prospects. That is what's going to earn us the right to keep prospecting into them. That is what's going to help the bottom line in our businesses. And when we send little cute things like, hey, are you listening? Smiley face, we're really damaging our credibility as experts. So I just want you to take this mindset with you of why do we prospect, how do we prospect, what do we not do into some of the following steps, because when we go to build this sequence, we're really going to come in a targeted, helpful way. And I'll show how that's worked for me. I'll show how you can take it through your writing. But I will see you in this next video, which is the sequence video.